Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. Today I'm going to continue my updated or my revised tier lists. I'm going to do Bounty Hunters today. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I did Champions of the Forest and released that a while ago. Definitely take a look. Had quite a few different rankings than I did originally 2 years ago when I did it. But this time, let's go and do this one, Bounty Hunters. I have my old tier list pulled up right here, along with some other stuff to kind of look at. Sorry if the videos I'm going to turn the brightness up on my screen a little bit. Sorry if the video is just kind of a little bit dark on my end. Yeah, don't worry about that. Just the lighting here is terrible, so I'm just gonna kind of roll with what I got. So let's jump in. First things first is the ISP speeder. This thing is horrific. I put it in D tier before. I still think it's D tier. It's not F tier, but it's definitely D tier. Not a good platform at all. It doesn't get great support. Costs way too much for how weak it is. I think if you chopped like 10 off the cost, maybe we can have a conversation about how viable it is, but this thing's not very good at all. So moving on to the Commerce Guild Homing Spider Droid. This thing is okay. I think it's pretty much, I actually stuck it before in C tier, and that is correct. I will put it in C tier again. It's penetration 20 doesn't matter, accurate shot's nice, its speed 8's nice, but you have high base attack, good damage, and it's a little fragile because you don't have any armor or anything like that, damage reduction 10, but with the Separatists, this thing could be really, really fun, lots of damage, accurate shot. However, got its limitations, costs a lot, very fragile, big base, so I'll leave it at that. So C tier I think is still good for me when it comes to this guy. Corporate Alliance Tank Droid, I think this thing's a solid B tier tank. I'm going to put it in B tier for now. What did I put it in before? I put it in B tier before, and I also think that's right. Blue Milk actually doesn't like this thing very much, but this is kind of my pushback on this. You have 30 damage, 7 attack, double attack, damage reduction 10. You do cost quite a lot, but with these basic, tools and also having all the different commander effects you can get, I think it's very serviceable, very solid Separatist large vehicle. I really do, or huge vehicle. I don't think it's high B tier. I put it like towards the low B tier, but I think it's very useful in my opinion. So definitely don't think it's as bad as Blue Milk thinks it is, but for Separatist large vehicles and how far they can go, very, very solid. So I'll definitely leave this thing in B tier. Let's keep going here. I think maybe I'm not going to change too much about this. Next, we got the huge crab droid. So the huge crab droid, I think, is also, before I put it in B tier, I think it's still a B tier. So the thing with the huge crab droid, I need to go back and do that one after. Huge crab droid, still very solid. It's not as good as the other crab droid in my opinion. However, this thing, you can still do some nice stuff. You can do 40 damage, 13 attack, momentum, run up to something and hit it really hard. Though I don't think it's as good. Personally, I actually don't like it as much as the tank droid. I just don't. I like the tank droid because it can attack more, it has armor, it can benefit from all the same commander effects this thing can. This thing can shoot still, but I'm not as huge crab droid's fine. It's just too big and unwieldy. If you're gonna use a crab droid, use the original crab droid. It's way better. But the huge crab droid, I should say, it's definitely low B tier as well, so these things are going to kind of fall down there. Droid Starfighter in walking mode, this thing's kind of a disappointing vehicle in my opinion, and I'm going to put it C tier, but right here in C tier. Here's the problem. So you have so many fun weapons. You got twin, penetration, double, damage reduction, missiles 40. This is all great, but you cost so much, and you're not going to stay alive that long. I mean, this is like even worse than the Hailfire droid because with like the Hailfire droid, it's similar things. It has 60 HP, bad defense, and that thing costs a lot. This thing costs even more, so it's kind of a bummer, unfortunately. So when I first got this guy, I thought he was so cool, so good, but what I think you should do instead is use the B3 Battle Droid. The B3 Ultra Battle Droid pretty much does all this stuff. Very similar, but it's cheaper and better in my opinion. So this guy still goes in C tier. Chewbacca is C-3PO. So Chewbacca is C-3PO these days. This guy's a little awkward because he can kind of do two things. He can be a rusher, he can be a little bit of bodyguard, and he can kind of shoot as well. He's not too bad, but I don't like this guy very much, honestly. Ultimately, I think this guy's more of a C tier character personally, and that's where I think he's gonna put him. I'm gonna put him probably. Ooh, I'll do above these guys in C tier. He costs 31. Doesn't have as good stats as Rebel Hero C3PO, but sorry, Chewbacca. It is nice that he's got some versatility, can kind of do a few things here and there, but double attack doesn't really work with momentum. It kind of works with cleave, which is nice. Draw fire can be okay, I guess, but it's just not a great Chewbacca, so I'll leave it at that. Han Solo Scoundrel. This guy, ooh, I'm going to put him in A tier for now. So my issue with Han Solo Scoundrel is I think he's an S tier character, but the thing that is good, so he's got pretty low, kind of low stats, I guess you could say, for a 46. He's got great mobility stuff. He's got twin, mobile, evade, cunning, accurate, like all that works together for good survivability. Since he has a force rating, he can reroll evade, and there's characters that can help him continue to reroll evade, which is awesome. So he's got good survivability. I am going to put him in S tier, but I think personally he's a really low S tier character, just because this is a little shaky over here. Can do some damage. Still a really, really nice character for sure. Haven't unfortunately had the opportunity to use him too much, but ultimately this guy and Han Solo Galactic Hero are the ultimate Han Solos pretty much, but really solid character. I just haven't had the opportunity to use him too much, but really good. Luke Skywalker of Dagobah. So personally, I've never been a big fan of this guy. I think he's personally a D tier character, and I'm going to throw him down there. I'll put the ISB speeder below him. So he can shoot, which is nice, and he has Blast Up Barrage and Sweep, which is weird because if you're adjacent to a bunch of people, you're not going to be using Blaster Barrage anyway. You'd be using Sweep, and there's nothing necessarily better or different about that. I've always thought this guy was just awkward. He costs almost 30. I don't like these stats for that much. He has double attack. Sure, you can make him a lot better, if you give him like some specific commander effects in his squad, but like everybody in Rebels benefits from General Riken, so it's not really fair to just kind of bump everybody up that way. Luke Skywalker Dagobah, this guy's still D tier to me. I put him in D tier before. He still belongs in D tier. So, Princess Leia Hoth Commander, I think she is very solid. Okay, B tier. Very nice mobility. Fun commander effect, although it doesn't really pop up a lot. I think she's actually probably still an extremely high B tier or a low A tier character. I'm not sure. I'll do low A tier. She doesn't cost too much, and she's got fun commander effects. She has force power. She got good special abilities. Just a really, really fun Princess Leia altogether, in my opinion. Have seen some fun squads work. If you have squads where you have opportunities to try to re-roll saves and things, then you can have some fun with this. Especially if you have non-unique allies that have force points, then they can re-roll those, and that can make it really fun. The Rebel Captain. Interesting dude. So he's got twin, similar stats to a lot of commanders that cost 20. Deadeye, twin. That's kind of a bummer. These don't go together very well. And then Rebel Troopers get, within 6 squares, get twin attack. So I'm pretty sure this applies to the Hoth Trooper with repeating blaster cannon. I think, so you could give that guy twin attack. And then there aren't very many good Rebel Troopers you even want to give this to. Unfortunately, I've never been a big fan. I know what they're trying to make twin attack a really cool power in this specific set. But for me, it just kind of falls flat. It doesn't really work. So for me, Rebel Captain, not bad, but I'm going to put him at the very bottom of C tier. Definitely not the worst, but maybe D tier. We'll see. Rebel Heavy Trooper. This guy, I'm going to probably put him straight in F tier. It's bad. You can give him twin attack. There's that. So, give him twin attack if you want to. That could be sweet. Otherwise, most heavy troopers are garbage in my opinion. Rebel Snowspeeder. So the Rebel Snowspeeder, I put him in B tier before. I think B tier is still probably appropriate, but I'm going to put him above these guys for sure. Very solid. The only problem I have with these guys is this. Huge base. Don't have a lot of HP, so they will die soon, but they got damage reduction 10. But the nice part is that they are very fast. They zoom around, run and shoot, activate mounted weapon characters if you want to. I think maybe even a very low A tier could be deserving of them. They just have such a big fat base though, it makes them really awkward to handle. But that's a lot of speed, and they can fly. So I think I'm going to do low, like the lowest of A tiers probably, but I'm not totally sure on it. They're really fun. I've always had a fun time using these, and I think that's what they deserve. Lord Vader, S tier for sure. I don't think S plus tier is quite ready for him. He's got some issues, some weaknesses for sure. Excuse me. He's got some weaknesses and issues, and I think because of that, it kind of holds him back just a little bit. So, awesome glass cannon potential, amazing commander, amazing force powers, a fun commander effect, although I'd almost prefer him to not have a commander effect. And then I really, really like all these powers. Leap is great to avoid the attacks of opportunity, and then assault, sweep, Astler Force 2, overwhelming force. Really fantastic character, but he's not S plus though, unfortunately. But boy, you can have a lot of fun with this guy. Talon Card, another very solid character for the New Republic. Recon's nice, Reserves is good. Twin Attack, very just solid character overall. I think he's probably, I put him probably where I did before. I think I had him in probably like a mid B tier. I've had him A tier before. Do I really think he's an A tier character? I think, I don't know about that. I think he's more of a high B tier, honestly. We'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. Aqualish Assassin, I'm a big fan of these guys. These things are fun. So the Aqualish Assassin, they're one of the best, like 7 costing melee characters you can get. Stealth, Opportunist. They can do more stuff with Black Sun if you want to. They don't even have to be with Black Sun to be really nice. Definitely a big fan of these guys. I'm actually going to put them above Talon Card just for what they do. Big fan of them. I think originally when I ranked these guys, I think I had them in B tier. Yeah, I had them in B tier before, and that sounds about right. So I think B tier is also good for them. Ayavita, 19. She's okay still. Originally I put her, I think, down in B tier. For costing 19, she's got a lot of good stuff. I mean, like, awesome attack. She can do poison. She can do paralysis. Cunning attack. I mean, she's not great. She's not bad. But, like, she can have a purpose on your team to really, frustratingly to activate certain characters on the enemy's team if you want to. So I think Ayavita is a very solid B tier. And I'm going to put her probably right here in the middle. Bib Fortuna, nah. I mean, sure, he's at costs 8 and could do 40 damage. Will he? Probably never. So for that reason, I don't think Bib Fortuna is really all that worth it, and I'm going to throw him down here I'm going to put him down here in D tier. Biff Black Sun Vigo, oof, these guys are S tier. I'm putting these guys up in S tier right there. So Biff Black Sun Vigo, I don't need to say anymore. I put them in A tier before. That's too low. These things are S tier. So you have advantageous attack, evade, microvision, mobile, stealth, twin. You give people the stealth evade. Like, what more do you want? This guy is such a fun character. You can mix him in so many great squads. Yes, the Twi'lek Black Sun Vigo is superior, but this guy's so fantastic. And they actually work together really well. So, because this guy can give evade, and the other one, I think, gives people with evade a greater mobile attack. So we got with Black Sun Vigo, don't need to talk too much more about that one. So, Boba Fett Bounty Hunter, interesting. So I still think this guy's an S tier character, absolutely. I think he's the best character in the set, personally. That's just me. Awesome stats, fantastic abilities. He's got twin and mobile, disintegration, bounty hunter, accurate shot. So the only issue, he doesn't do a lot of damage. He can only do like 40 damage per turn, but it's very high accuracy. He can shoot whoever he wants to. Flight is always fantastic. There's the risk of disintegration always, which is nice. And then you have flamethrower as a nice, just automatic damage if you need it, but probably won't. And then he's very good at hit and run. He does cost a lot, but even with the low initial attack, I still think this guy's fantastic, and I just can't get away from that. So I'll have to be true to my guns and keep him where he's at. Boshek, he's okay, I guess. He doesn't cost much. And the cool part is he does have stealth. So the fact that he has stealth, he doesn't have great repairing, but at least he can maybe hang behind. He can hang back behind a mounted weapon character, and he'll be harder to target him. And he can repair them, and he can do gunner, which is nice. So, not a great character at all by any stretch of the imagination, but I put him down here in kind of low C tier. I think that's fine. Bosk Bounty Hunter. So Bosk Bounty Hunter is interesting. You know how I feel about Bosk Trandoshan Hunter. I'm going to get some water. It's coming off a cold. It's been awful. This guy has a lot of fun gift tricks, a lot of fun powers, but big butt, he doesn't have very many HP. Therefore, he dies before he gets to do anything here. A lot of good stuff, though. I mean, a lot of fun options. Don't get me wrong, with double claw attacks and momentum and rend. Like, he's a decent character, but I can't put him any better than B tier, so I'm going to stick him right here in the center B tier. Bausch, a lot of fun. Grenades 40. Put her with Captain Tarples, and you're going to have lots of fun. Paralysis, I mean, you don't. It's nice to have that, I guess, but you might not necessarily use it too much. However, the issue is with Bausch can die pretty easy anyways. But still a fun character with those Grenades 40. That's kind of all Bausch has going for it. Blue Milk actually is pretty harsh on Bausch. The Grenades 40 is fun, but at the end of the day, that's all Bausch has going. So I'll probably put in C tier. Fun Grenades 40, but I'll put him right there. That sounds fine. Calo Nord. This guy's not good in my opinion. He's costs quite a lot to have kind of meh stats. Avoid Defeat is nice, but let's be real, it almost never triggers. And then you have Bounty Hunter +4. Double and Grenades 20. It's just, this guy just doesn't cut it in my opinion. I've never been a fan of Calo Nord. This guy might even be, is he F tier? He's going to be the very bottom of D tier. He might be F tier. He's so bad. I think he's so bad. Don't use him. Carillion Pirate. I mean, just kind of a generic guy. Accurate shot's nice. Advantageous attack, that's also nice too. But at the end of the day, it's nothing special. I mean, you have terrible stats for a 10, so you're really leaning hard on those special abilities. So at the end of the day, I think it's a D tier, and I'll put it around here. I mean, the fact that he has accurate shot built in is kind of nice, so whatever. Danik Jericho. I always thought this guy was pretty fun. He can shoot. He's got stealth. Proboscis is kind of fun. If attack hits an adjacent enemy, if it's a replacer's turn, then you can activate him, which is fun. You can do drain life energy. Whenever he defeats an adjacent enemy, remove all damage from this character. Kind of a fun, quirky character. Not like a great character by any means, but definitely a solid B tier. I put him right here. Yeah, in the middle B tiers, but okay. Dark Helion Marauder. Rather than being a strafe attack speeder, this guy is kind of a hit and run speeder. For costing 10, this is actually really good, to be honest with you. If you just cost 10, I mean, you can fly, you're fast, you got mobile attack. I know you have a larger base, but like, I think this is actually pretty solid for. It's honestly pretty solid. The gang one maybe isn't gonna come into play too much, but I think it's definitely a solid thing. I'm gonna put like high C tier. It doesn't cost much, and it's got good mobility, so I like it. No, the gang member though, I think is crap, so I'm gonna throw him down here in F tier. I have no use for the gang member at all. It's like, okay, if you want to make a bunch of these guys in a gang and have a lot of high attack for a little bit, have fun, but I don't care for it. The Devil Spy, very solid. It doesn't cost too much, but you do got evade and stealth. You can have really high attack with a nice shot. For that, a lot of good stuff going for it, but it's not, overwhelming or crazy or anything. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's still probably like a low C tier. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Kind of an interesting piece. I'm going to put in C tier just above these guys. Dengar, Bounty Hunter. This guy's kind of disappointing, so kind of nice potential. Deadeye's good. Deadly attack. This guy can be a really nice power shooter, or he could be. He just costs a lot, and he's going to die so fast. Low HP, not good. And Grenades 20s, it's a tool, but it's not all that great. Personally, I think this guy's kind of a huge miss. And I'd actually stick him down into maybe like low C tier, maybe high D tier. I'm not even say high D tier. It's just he costs so much. He just costs so much, and he's just gonna get that. He's just gonna die anyway. So, in my original tier list, I had him in. Where did I have him in? I can't find him. In my original tier list, this is actually I had him in C tier. I'll put him bottom of C tier, just because this is some decent potential with the gun, but I can't do it. Every time I've seen this guy get used, he gets annihilated and does terrible. So I'm just gonna have to go that. Deathful Spy though, for costing 14, it's a little bummer that he doesn't have very much more attack, and he's got loner, but I think he's actually kind of decent, so I'll bump him up a little bit. Jasper, this guy sucks. He's got a low bounty hunter, double, and opportunist, but he costs 19, and he can barely do much. I think this guy's pretty bad. I mean, he's not the worst of the worst, but like, honestly, I'd put Jasper down on like the bottom of C tier, maybe even top of D tier. Like, let's see, against unique characters, he could do 12 attack, 20 damage each. Nah, this guy's not good. Better than Kalinord, better than this guy because he's so expensive. I'll drop him right there in D tier. Not a fan. The Assassin Droid. These things are pretty fun. So program target can make him pretty nice against a specific character. You just got to be careful and make sure you're doing that. This thing can be even better on Separatists, of course. It can be a really nice Separatist character, kind of help to knock out a unique character, of course, on the other person's team. Very solid indeed. I'd put this thing probably in a solid B tier rating. Where in B tier? I thought I'd put him right there. I think that sounds fine. I've had a lot of fun with these guys back in the day. Haven't used them in a while, but definitely solid B tier. Gamorrean Thug. These aren't that great. Sure, they can do 30 damage, and they're a little cheaper with Jabba, but at the end of the day, I don't think these things are any good at all. So I'm going to actually stick these things down here in F tier. Yeah. The nice part is they do 30 damage, and they don't have heavy weapon, but when it comes down to it, I just don't care about these. I just don't care. Okay, Garendon. Garendon is interesting. I used to really like him a lot. Spotter 30, I think he's the only character with Spotter 30 in the entire game, so that's kind of fun. He has stealth, otherwise lousy stats, so really the only reason you have him is if you can get him into a good spot and people get close, he can be a support character to do a really powerful combined fire attack. Otherwise, he doesn't do anything else for you, and for that reason, I think Garendon is probably, I think he's probably very high C tier, very low B tier. I'll do low B tier, and the reason why is I think as a 12, he can be a good support for characters who get too close, and that's it. I think that's really all he can do. He can do a pack punch, but just kind of keep him back, keep him safe, and then kind of utilize him when those situations you have that you need to, and definitely can be a good asset, but otherwise, that's kind of all he does. I think high C tier is fine. For me, I just think Garendon's a little bit too tricky to get working with Spotter. Human Blaster for hire, these aren't good, although I did have a fun idea where you could do Caesar, these guys, and then Tarpals, and they can be the cheapest grenades 20, double grenades 20 grenadiers in the game. I thought it is kind of a wacky, weird squad, but other than that, though, like these things aren't very good at all. So I'm gonna put the Human Blaster for hires down in D tier. Let's see, let's put them right around here. That sounds fine. IG-88 Bounty Hunter. So again, we have the issues with the bounty hunters in this set. Fun powers, Sonic Center's kind of cool. Opportunist, Flamethrower, Double, Bounty Hunter, but you don't have, like, I wish he had 100 HP or something. So either way, he's still really, really good, in my opinion. Very solid character, but the HP kind of hinders my excitement about him just a little bit. So for that reason, I think he's definitely... Is he an A tier character? I think he's going to be top of B tier. Let's see, I put this guy in top of B tier before. Yeah, I still feel the same way. Still really great, but just watch out. Jango Fett Bounty Hunter, really nice character. Not as good, of course. He costs less, so he costs 56 instead of 62. A little worse stats slightly, but he's got some other things. He's got Jedi Hunter and Bounty Hunter. So this guy can be especially good against Jedi. Sniper's nice. Missiles 20 could be kind of fun, to, depending on the circumstance. Very solid bag. Like, if you're not going to use the other one, this guy can be a really nice just Jedi killer option. And mix him with the right commander effects, and he can be really scary. The question is in my original video, I put him in A tier. I actually think that might not be quite right. I think Jango Fett Bounty Hunter is actually still an S tier character, personally. And I think I'd put him actually right. I still like Lord Vader a lot. I'm going to put him right below Lord Vader. Lord Vader can have some really crazy potential in the right circumstances. But, man, at the end of the day, it's funny. If you actually go on Blue Milk, I'm going to pull it up real quick. There it is. Yeah, so actually, if you look up on Blue Milk, Boba Fett, Jango Fett Bounty Hunter, he's not rated that much worse than Boba Fett Bounty Hunter. Not that much, just by a little bit. I think he's definitely an S tier character, in my opinion. Klatooinian Hunter, this guy is terrible, so we'll go down here in the Abyss. Kamari Vosa, she's also F tier. I'm going to put her down here. Let's be kind of nice and put her right here. Kamari Vosa is such a bummer. She costs so much. She's very similar to Maris Brood in the fact that they do a lot of similar stuff. They both have twin, double, they're fringe. They both cost like the same. They both have lightsaber assault. However, she has control mines, which is a commander effect that I think sucks. And her stats are terrible. So terrible. Like, I had her fight off against... in one of my videos, dual videos against both Jango Fetts. She got crushed both times. Don't get me wrong, she can kind of hold her own sometimes. But I just think Kamari Vosa was just such a massive letdown. I'll be nice and do the very bottom of D tier because if you get a little lucky, she can hold her own a little bit, but she's just so underpowered and disappointing. Mistral Shadow Guard. I think this character was actually first and I skipped him. I'm very curious if I did that. Oh, I bet he was first and I skipped him. No, he wasn't. Where is he then? I feel like I should have already rated Forlon by now, but I haven't yet. Okay, Mistral Shadow Guard. These are pretty fun. So, crazy high attack. You do have a few interesting things. So you have Stealth, which is nice. Paralysis is great. Melee Reach 2 is great. Loner is great. Evade is great. You have, awkwardly, you have Bodyguard. So either you can use the Bodyguard function, or you can be off on your own and leverage your Evade, your Stealth, your Melee Reach, and your Paralysis. So I think they're honestly very, very good in my opinion. You just have to kind of know how you want to use them. So I think for the Mistral Shadow Guards, definitely a high B tier character. But, yeah, but they have some drawbacks. And mostly it's just they have low HP. They could get killed. And it's kind of awkward trying to know, like, the fact they have Bodyguard, but it's not like you're going to use it all that much. But otherwise, these guys can hit pretty reliably, and they can be really frustrating for the enemy with them using their paralysis. Mustafarian Flea Rider. Okay, so how do I feel about this thing? The Mustafarian Flea Rider, I think, is probably... It's interesting because he costs 22, reminds me a lot of the Tusk Raider on Bantha, but probably better. Got good speed. If he doesn't move, can be a pretty solid shooter, but he's a huge, so at the end of the day, that kind of hurts him a bit. But it's not necessarily a bad character at all. Definitely like a C tier. I'd probably put him kind of right here in the middle. Mustafarian Soldier, I'd say pretty nice. A little underwhelming, but you do have Sniper, Deadeye, Careful Shot, so if you don't move, then this thing can be an okay shooter that does 30 damage. But you do cost 12 to do that, and you have bad stats. So at the end of the day, I mean, I could probably put this thing low C tier, probably. That's probably fine. Desert Skiff, what a crazy, crazy thing. Very hard to collect. Desert Skiff's kind of fun. You know, it can fly, it can move. You can load something up on top of it utilizing Desert Skiff, but this thing will probably die in 5 seconds anyway, so don't think I'd really highly recommend it, but it's hard to rate, so I think I'll probably just throw them somewhere in the middle of B tier. Kind of fun, kind of wacky. Nim, so Nim. I don't think Nim is definitely solidly an A tier. Very fun character. Costs a lot. He does do a lot of damage though. Grenades 40 is kind of nice. Suppressive could be nice if enemy commanders get too close. Recon's good. A really good commander effect for mercenaries, and some mercenaries can really benefit from it. Very good character overall. Not S tier, has some weaknesses. Not good defense, but definitely hits hard and is really fun. Core and Bounty Hunter, in my opinion, honestly kind of solid. I mean, you have the Black Sun stuff, decent stats, and then Careful Shot and Bounty Hunter can make you a little bit better. You have to be with Black Sun to make this thing much better than he is. Otherwise, he's a little bit too weak. So for that reason, he's either going to be in D tier or down here in C tier. So let's see here. What do we think? Where's the Core and Bounty Hunter? I've always honestly kind of thought that they're okay, but they kind of aren't. So I think Core and Bounty Hunter is going to go here. That looks good. Yeah. Okay, Rhodian Huntmaster. Costs 22, got Deadeye, and then you give non-unique followers Deadeye. I actually kind of like this commander effect. It can be an interesting way to give certain characters that a little extra boost on your team if you need it. But either way, this thing is still kind of limited, so I think I will probably still, let's see here. Definitely not bad. I think he's definitely a B tier, but not, in my opinion, the highest B tier. I'll put him right in there. That looks good. Tamtel Screech, Lando Calrissian. A lot of fun. I mean, this guy's got great melee fighting ability. He can stealth, double, can cleave to get those extra attacks in. Opportunist can be nice to do extra damage. His hit points is pretty scary, unfortunately, so that kind of makes me a little bit suspicious, a little bit worried about him. But otherwise, I think he's a solid, definitely a decent and solid character. I'll probably put him in like top of C tier. I think that sounds fine. Really fun kit, but like that HP is really scary. Like he's not going to be able to do too much, unfortunately. It's pretty underwhelming HP. Tusken Raider Sniper, kind of similar in a lot of ways to the Mustafarian Sniper. Although Mustafarian Sniper can get a little bit more damage off, but it does cost quite a bit more. So for that reason, I think the Tusken Raider Sniper is kind of in the same boat. I'll probably just put them like together. They're just different when it comes to like cost or damage. Utapon on Dactylion, kind of interesting. So they can shoot, they can fly, they're mobile, they can do a lot of damage. They could get double attack from Tian Madan if you want that as well. They don't cost too much. I think costing 27 is actually quite reasonable for this guy. And since he's huge, he'll likely be in cover frequently, so he'll have 20 defense. I do think these things are actually like quite decent characters, and so I'm going to put them up here in B tier, probably right in middle of B tier probably. Very solid, very interesting and solid huges. I do appreciate that they don't cost a lot, because sometimes huges cost so much, it makes them hard to use. Weakway Leader. I actually quite like this thing for a couple specific reasons. These are non-unique followers. Within 6 squares, gain Mighty Swing. I think this guy is a really nice, just kind of add-in if you're doing a squad for any faction, and you have a bunch of non-unique melee characters. Throw this guy in a squad, and now all those melee characters have Mighty Swing. They could be non-unique Jedis. They could be a variety of different melee characters, and now they have Mighty Swing. I actually think this guy's really underrated for that reason. The Weakway Leader does have actually pretty decent rating on Blue Milk, but otherwise, like, okay, you can put Jabba the Hutt. He's not that great of an attacker on his own, but he does got kind of nice stats for a 13 melee. Like, he kind of does. And he's got Cleave, which is okay too, but I really like this commander effect because there's a few squads I've put where I just kind of sneak him in, and then now the Jedi Weapons Master has Mighty Swing, you know. Now some of my really dangerous Wookiees have Mighty Swing if they didn't already get it from some other places. Or some other characters, some Blade Masters, now they have Mighty Swing all of a sudden. And it's kind of underrated and really sweet. So I'm a fan of this guy. I'm actually going to put this thing in B tier. I'm really quite a fan of this commander effect. So I'm going to put him, for the reasons I like him, I'm going to put him probably right around here. Yeah, I think that sounds fine. Definitely limited commander effect, but it can be really fun to kind of boost up some of those characters. Alright, Weakway Thug. No. This guy's F tier. No interest. Crate Dragon, pretty fun character. So basically like a Reek, but a little bit better or a little bit different than a Reek. The Reek has a lot more HP, but this thing can do a little bit more damage and it's a little bit faster. So kind of pick your poison, pick which one you like or you don't like as much. This one's a pretty rare, but the fact that it does 50 damage is pretty fun. And if you mix him with certain characters, maybe get some empathy in there, can be pretty powerful and pretty scary. So, in my opinion, I think definitely the Crate Dragon is a very solid character. I'm gonna put him in A tier. Probably right here at A tier. Sounds good to me. Zakis, I think, is also an A tier character. I think the new Zakis is by far better, but this guy's just nice because he costs 22. Not the best stats, though, for costing 22, but he's got intuition, he's got accurate shot, he's got bounty hunter, so he can be a really just fun, nice, tactical shooting character that can just kind of run around and be frustrating. But let me think about this a little bit more, though. I guess I don't know if A tier is quite right. The thing is, though, is I think I'm giving this one too much credit for the new Zakis, who's so much better. I do like that he's got intuition. I do like that he's accurate shot, but his stats are terrible. So I think for that reason, I'm gonna have to bump him down to low B tier, and I'm gonna have to call that good. Yeah, I think I can't give him too much credit for the other one, but don't get me wrong. I mean, this is nice to have these powers. Basilisk War Droid, perhaps, in my opinion, one of the best strafe attackers. Nice stats, high attack, awesome damage. You fly, you can move really far, and then you can strafe attack everybody in your way. This guy can kill so many people, and especially if you give him twin attack with the captain. Oh my gosh, like this thing, it's still unwieldy, it's still awkward because it's such a big, huge character, but like, let's be real, the Basilisk War Droid, you can do some fun stuff with this thing for sure. So I'm going to have to stick this guy right up here in A tier. I'm going to put him right in this. Yeah, that's a good region to put him in. Super fun. I haven't had the pleasure of using him yet, but you can do some good stuff with this guy. Absolutely. Mandalore the Indomitable, what a tricky character to rate. So Blue Milk definitely, I feel the same way that Blue Milk does. Blue Milk kind of rates him kind of towards the kind of A-ish tier, but I'm going to put him kind of low A tier. And here's my issue with him. He costs so much. He almost costs 70. He does have great stats, but it's a little awkward because he doesn't have mobile attack or anything. He gives Mandalorian allies momentum, which is kind of nice. Like, to give allies momentum, like, okay, great. In melee situations, they can charge and do some more stuff. He himself's got double and deadly. Evade is nice and momentum, but like, there's just kind of awkward powers. I don't want him to get out in the open too much and get hurt, but he costs us too much money. Like, he's just tough. He's still a good character. He still is a good character, but like, it's just so expensive. And I've played against him, and I've seen him not hold up quite as well as he would like, but he has great potential. So for that reason, I gotta put him down here in A tier. So I put him in high A tier before. I think that's not right. He's low A tier. Mandalorian Blade Master, honestly, not bad. You have decent stats for a melee character. Parry, having parry built in is always awesome, and then twin attack is nice too. Because this guy's a Mandalorian, I don't think he's liked very, so Blue Milk doesn't like him as much, but just objectively, very solid character. I can't diss him too much. So I think this guy is definitely a low B tier in my opinion. I'm going to put him right here. Definitely not bad. Mandalorian Commander, very solid. Costs a lot. Great stats. A mobile shooter. He can either shoot twice, he can be mobile, and all Mandalorian allies gain mobile attack. So this can be good for some of those expensive ones like Mandalore the Indomitable. Yes, it'll be nice to give him mobile attack. And for that reason, this guy's very crucial. You can even give characters like, Mandalore the Indomitable, the ultimate mobile attack too. So I think this guy's definitely really, really good. The commander giving mobile attack, really important. So let's put him, I think he's an A tier character. Yeah, I think he's definitely A tier. I'm going to put him right up here. Giving mobile attack on that team is so important. Mandalorian Soldier, these guys don't excite me too much. I mean, they're pretty decent if you think about it. Like, they do got good stats. 40, 16, 8, and 10. Well, 10 not so much. But otherwise, I think, you know, I'm kind of in line with what Blue Milk thinks. They're honestly not that great. Especially on the Mandalorian squad, you can do quite a bit better, so I'm going to put them out in C tier. Super Commando, though, these guys are A tier worthy, 100%. They cost 23, and they just have 6 stats. They have Sniper as well, 30 base damage, 10 attack, and then they can easily get modified with all the wonderful commander effects from the Mandalorian squad. Mobile attack, twin attack. Just imagine giving these mobile and twin. They're going to be causing so much chaos. So definitely a big fan of the Mandalorian Super Commando. Not quite S tier, but I'm going to put them all the way up here towards the top of A tier. Mandalorian Warrior, it's okay. I mean, it costs 14. You have Cleave this time. Kind of reminds me of like a Wookiee almost in some ways. Mighty Swing. Melee Reach is nice too, but I think I'd prefer the Blade Master who has parry, or the Marauder who has parry as well. So for that reason, I'm actually going to have to kind of dump this guy down here. I'm not really a big fan of these, so put him down here. Last but not least is Forlom Bounty Hunter. I'm a big fan of Forlom Bounty Hunter. I think he's really, really, really good. Definitely an A tier character, absolutely, and I think he's worthy of being right up here. Maybe top of A tier. I'll do top of A tier. That sounds fine. Okay, there you go, guys. This is it. This is my final list. My S tier characters this time. The ones I elevated, I actually elevated the Biff, and I elevated Jango Fett. They were at A tier before. I think those guys, they're deserving of S tier. No S pluses today. I don't think anyone in Bounty Hunter is quite at that insane level, but these guys are fantastic. These are my A tiers. I don't have quite as many A tiers as before. I bumped some of them down to B tier. Some of them stayed the same in B tier, but unfortunately, I actually had a lot more guys this time in F tier and D tier. Going back into it, like, geez, there's a lot of characters in Bounty Hunter that really aren't very good at all, but you do have some gems. So, in my opinion, a really kind of uniformly distributed set where you have a lot of really good characters, a lot of really bad characters, and a lot of characters just kind of in the middle, and that's totally okay. So, all right. Anyways, I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Definitely comment down below on your characters in this set. What do you think about this set? What do you think about this rating of the set? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, have a good one.